Welcome back, everyone. Today I have the ultimate comfort food recipe for you. Good old simple beef stew. For this recipe, you need about 5 or 6 potatoes, some tomato paste. I love the one in the tube because you don't have to use the entire can, and we only need 2 tablespoons. This is my secret ingredient. This is better than bouillon. It's the roasted beef base, and it is phenomenal. Some extra virgin olive oil, some beef chuck or stew meat, whatever you can find. You want your beef to be cut in 1-inch to 2-inch pieces just so that it cooks evenly. Then you're going to need some kosher salt, some black pepper, and some carrots. And lastly, you need a nice large pot. A Dutch oven is perfect for this. It's going to cook a little while, and you need something with a lid. So let's get started. I like to start this late afternoon. I heat up my Dutch oven to medium-high heat. I'll add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, just enough to coat the bottom of my pan. And then I'm going to add my cubed beef in. Next, we want to add some seasoning, so I'm going to add a generous pinch of kosher salt. I'm also going to add some black pepper, and I didn't add a lot because my kids were eating this, but if you like pepper, you can definitely add more. And while my beef started to cook and get a little bit of color on it, I went ahead and started peeling and cutting all of my carrots. So as you can see, I used about 7 pretty small carrots, but you can use whatever vegetables you have on hand. My kids really like carrots and potatoes, and that is the, I think, quintessential beef stew vegetables in my family at least. But you can add whatever you want. If you want to add frozen peas, if you want to add even squash to this, you can use whatever you have on hand. You've probably noticed, but I have a garbage bowl on the right side. That gray bowl is where I'm putting all of the scraps that is going into my compost. And then the pink bowl at the top is where I'm putting my cut vegetables, just so that it's easier to transfer it to the pot. So let's take a peek at our beef. It is cooked, it's browned a little bit, and it started to give off some of its juices. So now we can add our carrots right into the pot. Now onto peeling and cutting the potatoes. On this day, I was using russet potatoes, but in the past I have used all-purpose potatoes or even the little baby red potatoes. Those are excellent and they hold up really well in a stew. So whatever you have on hand will work. And that is one of the parts about this recipe that I love so much. It's a great go-to, and usually I have all these things in my pantry. So if I'm stuck for what to make for dinner, and I'm looking for a comfort food, this is definitely one that I will pull out. I always like to rinse off my potatoes before I go ahead and cut them, and I also like to rinse off my cutting board and the knife. I cut my potatoes into about 1-inch pieces. You can do larger pieces if you like. I just like to make them all pretty much the same size, just so it looks consistent. Now we're just going to add our cut potatoes right into our Dutch oven or your pot. And now we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of our tomato paste. So how convenient is this? It just squeezes right out and you pop the cap right back on that and pop it in your fridge. Then we're gonna add my secret ingredient. This is not a secret, but it is one of my favorites. This is better than bouillon. It comes in a bunch of different flavors, but this roast beef base will just take this stew to the next level. It is very thick. It's a dark brown paste and it smells amazing when you open the container. But this is meant to be dissolved in water. So I'm adding 3 scoopfuls. I didn't measure it to be exact. And then we're going to add 6 cups of water. You can add a little bit more water. You just want it to cover your beef and vegetables. Once you add your water, you just want to give your stew a good stir, and don't worry about the tomato paste and the beef base combining completely. When this boils and cooks down, it will all combine. And then I didn't show this ingredient in the beginning, but I really like to add dried oregano to my stew. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, so this is definitely optional, but I like to add maybe a teaspoon or so, and I just like the flavor that it adds. But again, it is optional. I would also like to point out that this recipe is proof that I do not always use garlic. I usually do, but on this day I left it out for some reason. So you just want to cover your Dutch oven up and you want to let this cook for anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. You could also very easily cook this in the Crockpot for 6 to 8 hours on low or 3 to 4 on high. I cooked this for, I think it was a little over 3 hours, and as you can see, the potatoes and the carrots were super tender, so that's what you're looking for, and it was just time to serve this up. I had baked just a regular roll of buttermilk biscuits, and this was our dinner. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube family, I would love for you to join me here. I love sharing lots of recipes, cleaning inspiration, all things mom life. So make sure you hit that red subscribe button, and hopefully we will see you in the next video.